Hello, everyone, and welcome into B&T Sports Talk Show. I'm your boy T here, and as you can see, B is frozen, but I'm about to fix that real quick. What happened to him? But thank y'all for joining us today, man. We got a great show ahead of us. You're literally still asleep. I gotta fix this. Well, thank y'all for joining us as we get through some of our technical difficulties, which we sometimes do. But no worries, we got a way to fix this. If we could just push 2 or 3 buttons and boom, there he is. Look at that. And like magic, we made it happen.
Hello.
He's back. What's
Hello,
up, B?
everybody.
How you doing, man?
What up, man? I'm good, man. It was hot. I was out in, was it Pleasanton playing softball? They said it was 70, but damn, it felt more like that there. Had some fun with with the team called the Roasters. We definitely roasted out there to say the least here. But hey, man, college football is releasing again after 10 years. College football 2025 is back.
Wow.
I cannot wait. I'm probably going to take some time off of work just to play a video game. I can promise you that, dude. You know what the thing that sucks about it, though, is it's only releasing on PS5.
Oh, really? They got the rights to it.
Oh yeah, they pulled some stuff on that. And you know what's funny? I have an operating PS4, so why, thanks PlayStation for putting me in a bad position where my PS4 works fine, and then you want me to go buy a new one just to play a video game.
So you can't play it on PS4?
I can't. No, they're only releasing it on the PS5 or on the newer consoles, man.
That's rough, bro. That's rough.
It sucks.
It's because all that new college technology they got to work in there, man. They got to get them NIL dollars.
Send me some NIL dollars so I can pay for this PS5. Jesus.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, that's fun, man. Folks, look out for the best ranked Stanford team in virtual world. Right?
No.
The man's not even playing with his favorite team.
I'm playing with Stanford. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I will play with the Stanford team. But if they have like the legendary Stanford team with like guys like Andrew Luck and Christian McCaffrey, I'll take that team. But this team right now, I'll take a high school team over that.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh man,
yeah,
right.
It had to be.
hey, I can't fault you. I can't fault you for doing what's gonna earn you a win. Speaking of wins, man, let's get right into it. We've got we got the conference finals going on in the NBA. Boston and the Pacers. We got the Mavs and the Wolves who are playing right now. I'm literally like peeking over at the game as we speak as Minnesota's trying to make a run here. Man, I mean, we'll start with the Eastern Conference Finals. Not very exciting. I mean, no, wait. I'll take that back. The first game was exciting. The third game was exciting. We had some games go right down the stretch. It's really starting to show that, man, when you got guys in the game on your team that can close out, makes a huge difference. We saw a huge 3 from Jaylen Brown in Game 1. The Pacers were on the verge of stealing that game, and it did not look like the Celtics were going to win. But that 3 by Brown helped put it in overtime, and then they got it done in overtime. Game 2, not much to speak of. And then Game 3, same thing, man. Those closers between Tatum, who I think had 30-plus, came through and kind of made a comeback out of it because the Pacers were up most of that game.
They were. Let's talk about Game 1 for a little bit because let me get your input on this here. You're up 3 with less than 10 seconds left. Why are you worried about what's happening on the inside? You give up the 2, or better yet, why aren't you fouling right off the bat to earn another possession? You know what I'm saying? Like, not doing that costed them the Game 1, right?
Yeah.
Look, Jaylen Brown still shot a contested 3. He was guarded by Pascal Siakam. But why are you running the risk of any one of those guys? We all know Boston is a great 3-point shooting team. So why are you going to run the risk of leaving anyone open or even getting a sniff of the 3-point line in crunch time like that? You don't do that. Allow it to or foul so you earn yourself another possession here, because then you got to force Boston to run the court. Instead, they go to overtime, they lose Game 1, and it demoralized them a little bit here going to Game 2, because Game 2 wasn't even close.
It was one of those games where you played as hard as you could and you did everything you could to win, but you still lost. And I think that's what you mean by like a demoralizing loss for a team that really needed to steal a game on the road, because how else are you going to be able to win this series if you don't steal a game from Boston? Game one is always the one that's up for the taking, and
Yes.
they did a lot of good things, man. They played well. They got some good contributions from not only Halliburton but Nimhard and I forget the other guy's name. And they just could not they just couldn't. It really just came down to that shot. I got to be honest with you. There wasn't anything crazy that Boston was doing. It really was the fact that they were able to close the game stronger and were able to make just a really big shot. So, yeah, man, I think it's over for them. Game 2 wasn't much of a game to speak of, but dude, give the Pacers credit for coming out in Game 3 and looking like they were gonna win this game. We're up by I think double digits for a good portion of the game, really, until the Celtics decided to remember that Halliburton was not even playing in this game and that they had the better team. And they stormed back and again, like I said, with Jaylen Brown and Tatum, and in this case, Drew Holiday.
I was going to say, this was Drew Holiday's best game. Was Game 3 here. And that defensive play at the end.
Oh, man.
To basically nail it. And here's, when I was eating dinner with my sister and they had the game on at the restaurant. What you can see there was at the end of the possession, Drew Holiday got beat on going left, right?
Yeah.
So he stumbled going right, but he recovered.
Yes.
The difference was he got in front of the ball, which caused the turnover here. Who had the ball? Was it Naismith?
Nembhard? It was either Nembhard or Naismith. I'll look up the stats, but man, check dude. Go ahead.
The way he got in front of it, the way he got in front to recover. That's what's separating good defensive teams. You don't see that a lot in the NBA.
No.
So that's where this trade with Milwaukee stood so large for the Boston Celtics to have a guy like this. And remember, they're not doing this with Porzingis as well.
Right.
And so Porzingis is a good rim defender as well. So that was such a beautiful defensive sequence to see there. Hats off to the man. Drew Holiday for the last 5 minutes of that fourth quarter really carried the Celtics to that comeback there.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, the Bucks, and we talked about it at the beginning of the season that it was a huge mistake for them to not only to make that trade, but to trade that player to one of the better teams in their conference, if not the best team in their conference. Made absolutely no sense for Milwaukee. Even if they were going to trade Drew Holiday, you did not want him to end up on the Celtics. I thought that was a dumb move all the way around because that's a team you're going to see. And he's paying dividends, man. Like you said, man, it's been a while since you pointed to a defensive play in the NBA and was like, wow, that was good defense, especially at the guard position. There aren't very many as good as guards are in the way fouls are called. You rarely get to see a guy play one-on-one on the perimeter and really lock a guy down. And you talked about it, losing your balance. He used his arm to keep from falling, gets back up, gets back in position, moves his feet, doesn't use his hands to guard, and then the moment the ball got close enough, he just patted that thing right out and kept running. So, yeah, great play by Holiday, man. That was a bona fide all-star defensive play right there.
Yeah, and then the play at the end, the all verticals go.
Oh yeah,
by the Indiana Pacers. I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, they had a chance to advance the ball up the court, and then they're getting set. And I'm like, I look at my sister. I'm like, yo, this is a football play right here.
It is,
and it almost worked. It to a T. Derek White got lost in that vertical, opened up Naismith here in the corner. Yep. The only difference is there just wasn't enough time to get that shot off to get set. He had to take a real tough three and hit the front of the side of the rim. But that's a creative play to end the game. I did not expect that, to say the least here. But you can see where the Pacers stand without Tyrese Halliburton. This series is guaranteed over.
It's over, man.
That's your star. That's your ball handler there, and it showed because I don't think Tyrese Halliburton is turning the ball over against Drew Holiday. Let's make that clear, and that's taking nothing away from Drew Holiday. Just the mindset that Halliburton has going into these kind of games is you need that there. So they're missing him big time. It's not easy to recover from a hamstring pull, to say the least here. So, yeah, man, it's tough.
It's over, man. They're down 3-0. No team comes back after being down 0-3. So this one's a far gone conclusion. Not that we didn't think Boston was going to win this series. At least I thought that Boston was going to win this series. I did give the Pacers one game. I thought that it would be a gentleman's sweep with the Boston winning 4-1. However, went rogue on them and decided to pick the Pacers to beat Boston. But Boston just has too much talent, too many different positions.
Yeah.
They have one of the better benches that is left in the playoffs at this point. And so I just think Boston's going to be in the finals, folks. I don't know. There's no other way around it. That's just how it's going to be, man.
Can we put it like this too? Al Horford has been non-important this entire NBA playoffs, yeah. And in Game 3 decides to set a career high in 3-pointers. Like, does any of this make sense to anybody that they can have that kind of contribution out of nowhere? It was I couldn't believe it.
I feel like Horford is one of those guys as a veteran who is always prepared. Even if he's not having a good offensive game, he's still a guy that, he's going to be their leading rebounder. He's going to be the guy that's pounding with the big on the other end. He's going to be the guy setting hard screens. He does all the dirty stuff. And I think in that way, he is a very essential part of what they do. Even with Porzingis coming back, Porzingis offers an offensive punch, but I think what Horford does in many facets of the game really, really centers and anchors their defense. So I got to give him credit, man. He's old, and he's OG, but he's still out there playing for that championship.
And then let's get caught up with the chat a little bit here. Mama Birdie goes, "Hello, boys. Hope you are having a wonderful weekend." We definitely are.
Absolutely.
Diego, welcome to the chat, man. Celtics. He's got a question. Celtics to win the NBA Finals. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So I'm picking based on my picks. I've got the Mavs going up against the Celtics. So if you don't know it, I'm a Laker fan. I cannot pick the Boston Celtics to win the finals. But
dude, I dare you to. I dare you to.
I'm picking the Mavs to win. I've been and I've been saying this for a while now. The Mavs, with the talent that they have, with Kyrie and Luka Doncic, the way they've been playing, the camaraderie that they formed together under J. Kidd, the infusion of Gafford and P.J. Washington in the way that they play defense and hustle, they are looking like a team that just isn't there because they're good. They look like a team that's hungry and a team that's actually looking to win a championship. And with those two veterans on their team, I think they have an opportunity to do that. And even with Jaylen Brown and Tatum is skittish at best. He's one of those guys who, on paper, is like, oh man, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But when you watch him from game to game, there are times where he kind of disappears. And I just think that that's not going to be able to work against a guy like Luka Doncic. Kyrie Irving can go off for his own 30-point game at any point in time. And I just feel like the Mavs, they got that hunger, baby. They getting after it.
I was gonna say they got that dog in there.
Yeah, man.
And then Saito says Lakers rule. Saito, come on, man. You grown up in the Bay. You're gonna sit there and say the Lakers rule? Oh my God. I think you hit on every point on why the Mavs will be pretty good. And we're gonna talk about the Mavs and the Wolves in a sec. But look, defense is gonna come down to it. I think the Celtics just are too good defensively here with the way they just get after the ball. It's consistent and with it here.
Yeah,
you saw it on full display last night. The way Drew Holiday was able to, like I said, we could talk about that play all day. I love the fact that he recovered from that. Yeah. But the fact that your top four defenders can guard anybody at any time, that presents a challenge for a lot of teams here. So it'd be a tough challenge for the Mavs. Obviously, we're not gonna write anything off yet, but I would say right now the Celtics are still the clear-cut favorite, going into it. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, yeah, let's jump into the other game, and we got somebody in the comments. Let's take this one since the game we're going to talk about is actually still ongoing. Thoughts on Klay Thompson from Diego. Thanks for joining us, Diego. Think he will leave? B, I'm going to start with you on this one because you're the resident Warrior fan here.
No, he's not leaving. No one's going to give him that max contract that he's looking for. He would be a good bench player, if he is willing to accept that role. I don't think he's much of a starter anymore. When you look at it here, I think he would make a great six man, but it's going to be with the Warriors here. I just don't see them breaking this up here. And I know that's hard to say, but it's the truth. They're going to let these guys go out all together here. It'll be a 2-year deal for Clay because Dre, Kerr, and Curry are all at the beginning of next season will all be on 2-year deals. So they're gonna go out together in the sunset, which I'm okay with. I'm coming to an acceptance of it there. But can you really see Klay Thompson in a different uniform? To be honest with you, it'd be hard to see that happen. I just don't think he's going to be able to get a ring anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not saying that he's going to get one with Golden State, but if you're not going to win a ring, just go out with the team that drafted you, had a bunch of success here. So I honestly think he's going to stay with the Warriors. He's going to have to take a family discount to make room for for the new wave of guys here, but I just don't see him going anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of speak from an outsider's point of view, his value is low. And he probably has more value to the Warriors than to anyone else at this particular time because he's not the defender he once was, and the other part of his game was being able to shoot, and hasn't been able to do that. So he's kind of in this weird place where he's gonna have to revamp his career, and I think that speaks to what you're talking about, B, where he's gonna have to find himself as being a bench player. A guy who's a bench player who could come in and be a microwave and light it up for about 15, 20 minutes a game. Unfortunately, it's sad to see, but that's just that's where his career is right now.
They talk about him having a career year 3-point wise, but that's because his minutes were reduced, and he came onto the court where, he had the freedom to shoot. When you put him onto another team, they're going to require a lot more from Clay to be that shooter. And I honestly don't think he has that in him anymore here. Diego brings up a point going, he sees him going to Orlando. I don't see him going to Orlando. It's not a really good fit for him there. That's too young of a team for that to happen, to say here. If there was a team I could see Klay Thompson signing with, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. They're one shooter away. And if anything, it's going to be him.
Yeah, I mean, I could see something along those lines, but it would have to be for the opportunity to win another championship, and so we have to see exactly what the Warriors will do. If the Warriors find a way to bolster their roster a little bit, then maybe, like you said, Klay Thompson takes a discount because that's going to be the best play for him going forward.
Yeah, we got a lot going on here. Let's see here. Where are we at? Mama Birdie says, "Go Giants." David Becerra, Klay Thompson isn't going anywhere. I agree with you on that. David Saito says, why don't any Giants players gamble? Because they're all in LA. He's referring to Shohei.
At least not that we know about.
Who knows? It could. Who knows? I mean, we weren't expecting Shohei to be a gambler, but hey, here we were talking about it. So man, that was ugly.
Somebody got to gamble, right? Somebody got to put money on it. I mean, undoubtedly it's happening. It's happening out there. We just don't know who's doing it. That's all. Shohei
especially with all the apps and the freedom that you have to gamble.
Yeah,
like it is at your fingertips here.
Gambling is literally being pushed on us every time you watch a sports game. There's a sporting event that you can watch now where there is an betting site that's being advertised.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the Mavs and the Wolves here, man, because what we're seeing from the Wolves is not what we saw in last season.
Man, they went from the Wolves to the puppies. I mean, it's just terrible, man. I mean, we saw a team that was so on it defensively against the Nuggets. They took it to 7. We saw them go through that 24 come back from the 20-point deficit, get the job done, and we're thinking this team is elevated to a new level. They then turn around and lose the first 2 games at home in Minnesota against the Mavs. And man, look, it's too much too soon. Can we talk about that? I mean, let's talk about this. Ant Edwards, too much too soon. ESPN needed a story to hitch themselves to. Ant was looking, and I'll give it to him. Ant was looking good, but I guess you kind of forgot about guys like Luka Doncic, who have been in the league for quite some time now, and Kyrie Irving, and those guys are just better. Let's just call it what it is. Luka Doncic is a better player than Ant Edwards is. You know, Kyrie Irving is not necessarily in his prime, but when he's was there, like was a better player than Ant Edwards is right now. So this might be one of those situations where you kind of got to hold the phone there. Luka Doncic hasn't gotten his flowers yet, and he's in his prime and is ready to make that next step to get to the finals. And that might just be what we're looking at. But bottom line is, man, that defense just fell apart. Rudy Gobert is a tragedy on offense. Why do we keep giving this guy defensive? Not we. I'm not voting, but why did they keep giving him defensive player of the year? He got cooked against Jokic. He got cooked against Luka. The guy touches the ball, it's like he's got butter all over his hands. He's got Crisco hands. He has no offensive game to speak of unless it's a clear open dunk. I don't see it. I mean, do you see it? Do you see where I'm not seeing defensive player of the year when I watch him?
I don't see it. Because here's the thing. I'm going to start with this offensive play first, okay? Rudy Gobert stands taller than any center that the Mavs have. Yeah. You know, and in game 2, they were trying to feed Rudy Gobert to at least, dude, he had like 4 open shots and proceeded to kick the ball out. And I'm like, dude, just go up with it. You literally just need to flick your wrist and the ball goes in every single time, or dunk the ball.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he is too timid to win. And secondly, whatever defensive player of the year award is being handed out and how they're looking at it criteria-wise is absolutely atrocious, because Rudy Gobert has not looked good in any of these playoff games. It's been terrible.
Okay, you're a Warriors fan. You watch Draymond Green play. No, as a Laker fan, Anthony Davis, that's our defensive anchor. Like, we watch what these guys do night in and night out. And what they do is not just block shots. They play pick and rolls efficiently. They switch off on smaller and bigger players efficiently. They get steals. He's not doing any of that. He's atrocious on the pick and roll. They got killed yesterday on the same play 2 different times. Kyrie got an open shot in the corner for a 3-on-1 of them. Another play, Doncic did it twice where he just looked off and threw the ball to a cutting big for a dunk. The guy is not helping, okay? And of course, defense is a team thing, but if we're going to call this guy Defensive Player of the Year, I need to see some Defensive Player of the Year action for real, because I'm not seeing it.
When you see that award handed out, let's talk about, you brought up Draymond, right?
Yeah.
There are times where Draymond impacts the game so much on the defensive end, it's ridiculous. He reads the lob. You know, he helps out on the screens here. You don't see that from Rudy Gobert. For God's sakes, Jeff McDaniels was laughing when Rudy Gobert got switched on to Luka when he called game in game 2. You know, and he didn't go to help him. Dude. The Mavs are playing this perfect. They are bringing Rudy out of this blitz that the Wolves are doing is not working. All right. Rudy is being constantly put into the top of the key into these mismatches.
Yeah.
Dude, it's terrible to watch, man. It's just, there's no defensive help for that man. But why does he need it? He's Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, first off, they need to stop switching. Number one, why the heck are you switching whenever you know Gobert has no business guarding anybody on the perimeter, especially when you got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on the same team? You ought to be trying to ice the screens or do anything you can or help or whatever. Do not switch Rudy onto a guard. Like, that should be the first thing on the whiteboard on defense when they get into the coaching session, because I don't know why Minnesota's doing that. And as we speak, they're doing it right now. They just had 2 plays where he got switched off on a guard and got roasted. The second one was for a foul where he got caught on the pump fake. And it's just Minnesota. What happened? What happened to that defense? And it's just a bad matchup for Minnesota. It was easier when you had Jokic, who also doesn't play defense and pretty much stands there. But it's not it's not as good whenever the bigs that are playing are mobile and they're moving all the time. So they have to find a better way to play defense against this team if they want to win.
Here's what's also driving me nuts right now. Karl Anthony Towns
Oh,
is just garbage. You know, he's living from the 3 point line. He's a subpar 3 point shooter, but you're playing a team that doesn't have a good interior defense. Go down to the post. But the thing is he doesn't have a post move.
no.
You know, all he has is a mid range and a 3 point shot. And it's like it kills me every single time when I'm watching the Wolves offense. There's three guys around the perimeter, maybe even four, and they're all looking to crash and pass.
Right.
It's driving me nuts. You know, you got two legitimate centers playing the 4 and the 5, but you guys are relying on 3 points. Rudy Gobert might as well just go out to the perimeter and start chucking up threes if everybody else is doing it.
Can we put an end to it? I mean, Big Cat is what he is. At one point, he was considered an all-star, a guy that was going to be a premier player around the league. But I gotta tell you, after watching it, he really is just one of the guys. I mean, he looks like he's just a role player there.
Yeah,
And
100%.
and to your point, his post move is I'm just gonna bowl you over, like literally.
Offensive foul every single time.
I'm just gonna run you over, and that's the play, and I'm gonna get a hook shot. So it's ridiculous that a guy that big with that much offensive talent, at least we think he has it, has just relegated himself to pretty much being Michael Porter Jr. Pretty much. I mean, that's
Just
all
a
he
fat
is.
version, just a fat version of Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, a
here.
bigger Michael Porter Jr. So
But let's talk about probably the Western Conference MVP of this series, and that's gonna be Luca. Hey, did you know Luca's been in the league for 6 years?
yeah,
Out of those 6 years, five of them he's been a first team All NBA.
yeah.
No one talks about it.
No,
He is the most underrated superstar this league has, and he is making a point in this series. Going, you guys know that I'm here, right?
yeah,
The only time he didn't win it was, I think, his rookie year that he didn't win All
yeah. I
NBA.
mean, he's been at the top of his game and one of the better players in the league for quite some time now. And the truth of the matter is, he plays in a small market, and playing in Dallas isn't going to help you. The fact that they've kind of been meddling in the playoffs hasn't really helped. But numbers wise, and what he's been doing with the triple doubles and his capability to score, especially what we're seeing in the playoffs, is bar none, man. He's playing just as good as any other player that we've seen in the playoffs. So you got
Yeah,
to give Luka his credit, man. That step back three against Gobert in that game, that was nasty. And those moments like that, they shut everything down. You can't say anything because the man went
no.
out there and he did it. So kudos to Luka, man.
I
Hope
think the other two is that he's got that he ain't backing down from nobody either. And I
no,
think that's the
no,
most underrated thing about Luca is he ain't afraid to talk. He chirped with Devin Booker.
right,
He's going at it.
yep,
He told Rudy Gobert to get the F off the court. You know what I'm saying? And you got to appreciate a guy like that. And let's be honest with you, Luca's been doing this with a subpar team.
yeah,
It's
exactly,
it's just been him. You know, he's finally got Kyrie, but when you really look at it, there hasn't been a really good number two for Luca up until, mid last year and into this year. The fact that they got a full season under their belt is paying dividends right now in this NBA Finals. He is learning from Kyrie on how to get to that upper echelon
yeah,
in that there. So you got to give credit to him, but at the same time, man, Luca's a bad man.
yeah, man.
He is a bad man.
I mean, you look at him and you're thinking, what is this guy doing that's so incredible? But he's got as big as he is, the body he has, the strength he has, and then that capability to just be able to stop on a dime. It really just put a defender in jail behind him and throw those little lobs that they were getting all game. It seemed like they had
Yep.
more lobs than anything else going for him in that game, and a lot of that was because of what Luca could do. So yeah, man. But we got a good game going on. It's 87 to
Yeah,
87.
Minnesota. You know what it is? Every time we get on and talk crap about Minnesota, they start pulling this stuff all the time. They they,
Right?
they did it last week when they were getting blown out by Denver,
Yeah.
and now they're doing it again.
Yes.
They literally, they came back and tied the game here. Um, Here's what also bugs me about Minnesota, dude, is the fact that in game one, multiple players came out and said they were tired. What are you
What are you
tired
tired
from?
for?
It is
Yep.
the Western Conference Finals. Your trip to the NBA Finals is on the line. You don't go to a reporter and say that you're tired. Come up with a different excuse, but don't go out there and say, "Oh man, I was tired. There's nothing I could do about it." I'm calling out Anthony Edwards and Carl Anthony Towns specifically because both of them knuckleheads said that during their press conference after Game One.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
there's no confidence in that.
it's irrelevant. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's irrelevant.
we've seen the way dynasties get. This is how dynasties are formed, right? You
Right.
find a way to get through it here. Yes, it is an exhausting season. This is one of the longest NBA seasons we've ever seen.
Right.
Everyone's tired,
Yeah.
but you can't use that as an excuse when you're 4 wins away from making an NBA Finals appearance. That's not what you want to hear as a fan.
No, absolutely. And
Hell
besides, I
no.
mean, how young are you guys? I mean, how old is Ant Edwards? 20, 24?
21,
21? I mean,
21, 22.
and maybe this is just a case of he's never played this many games in the season because the Timberwolves never gotten this deep in the playoffs. But either way, this is where you find the strength to get over. And I agree with you, B. If that's really what's happening, don't tell nobody because we don't want to hear it. You've got the best
No,
doctors, Gatorade, whatever the hell you need to do in the world. Go and do it, and
they've
be
got
ready
all
for the
these
next game.
they got all these ice baths, these trainers, all of that there. And I'm pretty, chambers, all the whole nine. You can't use that as an excuse, man. You really can't. And that's your leader,
Dude,
Anthony Edwards, saying that you're tired. Come on, man. We have been praising you this entire postseason on how much of a monster you have been. And then in game one, you're gonna come out and say, "Oh, I was tired."
yeah.
Come on, man.
Your fan base don't want to hear that, man.
I don't even want to hear that as just a regular NBA watcher.
I'm telling
Dude,
you,
you're
man.
supposed to be the face of this league. You're trying to be to that point. You can sit there and go, man, I was just tired that game.
Right.
Come on, man.
I'm
Get
tired.
out of here.
I'm tired, guys. Give me a break. Oh man. Well, we're gonna jump into a hot topic, you guys. This is something that's been going on ever since this particular player has been introduced to said league, and there's been a lot of backlash after only 1 week of the what is it? Maybe 2 weeks of the
I think it's
WNBA.
2 weeks of the
2 weeks of
WNBA.
the
Yeah.
WNBA starting. There's been a lot of hoopla around this draft class, a lot of great players, but the player at the top would being Caitlin Clark, and she of course is coming into the league, and it looks she looks she's going through the struggles of being a player coming from the collegiate ranks, playing in a professional league, which is to be expected. She was drafted high by a team, which, if you're drafted high by a team, folks, it's probably not going to be very good, which is also expected. But I think what wasn't expected or what I did not see coming was all of the haterade coming
Yo,
from other
everyone.
news outlets, ex WNBA players, The View, Jamel Hill, and all of these women,
Yeah.
coming out and just saying, she's why do we have to watch all of her games? Why are they on TV? Why are they promoting her so much? What about the other players? What about Angel Reese, who was also a great talented player as well in her own right? And it's like, but wait a minute, folks. Is it
Yeah.
that what we were supposed to be doing was to promote the players to create the revenue? I don't know if people know this, but the WNBA in the previous season had made $60 million. Now they're I think their cap. What was their revenue this time? The revenue's up to 200 million.
Yeah.
They more
Yep.
than doubled it because they've got these players, this great draft, these great players coming into their league, and the first thing that we can think to do is complain, is
Yeah.
be mad
Drives me
about.
nuts, dude.
Dude, I mean, the fact that she's getting this much hate is proof that it's working, in my opinion, because we're
Yep.
actually talking about the WNBA, whereas in any other scenario we wouldn't.
Let's talk about the Caitlin Clark effect right now, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
When's the last time the WNBA players had charter flights?
just started.
Exactly. Because of Caitlin Clark. Why are multiple WNBA players getting shoe contracts now?
Yeah,
Because of Caitlin Clark. You have a legitimate face of your company that you can rely on here. Do
yeah,
not bring race into this, okay? Don't bring any sort of politics into this. You're just mad at the fact that she is actually really, really good at basketball. I'm all for the roughing, welcome to the WNBA moment
yeah.
because she got punished
Yeah.
in her last game. Like she was getting thrown around
Yeah.
to the point where she got a technical.
Yeah.
But hey, that's your point there. And I'm happy for guys like LeBron James, Charles Barkley, all came out and said, "What are y'all complaining about? You guys finally have what you have been needing."
Right.
You know, you weren't selling tickets with Candace Parker, and I'm not taking anything away from Candace
Right.
Parker. She's a WNBA legend, but you couldn't do that with Candace Parker.
Right.
The Abumake sisters, you could not do that with them. Diana Taurasi couldn't do. Sue Bird,
Still
I
playing.
still playing. Great WNBA players,
Right.
but they don't have the notoriety that Caitlin Clark brings. The WNBA is playing games in NBA arenas. Again, you guys weren't doing that last year. The Caitlin Clark effect is bringing so much revenue to this here. It's here to be popular. So instead of complaining, just say thank you.
Yeah,
You know,
or don't say anything. It's okay.
yeah,
Like,
just shut up.
But I don't like this idea that it's like, well, why do we have to put her forward? Why her? Why? Well, the reason they're doing it is because they're trying to create revenue for the sport. Okay? Yes, we understand that the WNBA players don't make as much as the NBA players, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't raise as much revenue. Now, if you're saying that the revenue that the WNBA makes is not split up evenly between the players, well then that's a player agreement issue.
Yep.
That means you
Yep.
need to do what the WNBA, maybe you want to strike or whatever it is you want to do to try to make sure that you have a bigger piece of the pie. But the argument has always been that you're not going to get a $50 million a year contract whenever one league is making $1 billion and the other is making $60 million. 60 million, just made 200 this past year, but before that was making 60 million bucks. You're not going to sit here and try to make it seem like as though it's my fault or it's someone else's fault.
Yep.
For not doing what? For not making sure you got paid? The way that the wage works is it's going to be based on how much the league makes as a whole and the split between the owners and the players. If the owners if the players don't like the way the owners are splitting it, they can go and figure out and do what every other league has done. Argue it. Don't sign it. Strike. Yeah. Whatever it is you think you need to do. But if the argument is that the world as a whole is somehow putting the WNBA down because people aren't watching games, that's a fallacy. People aren't watching WNBA games because, unfortunately, it isn't. The viewership is not there. People aren't watching. They're not, because there's another product called the NBA that people can watch in its place. So whether you want to or not, you're always going to be competing against the NBA, even if you don't want to, just because you're playing the same sport. And that's just kind of the way that it is. Look, if every woman out there decided to get on board and support and watch the WNBA, then the WNBA will continue to grow. It'll grow. But it's just that WNBA has to carve out its niche and market and continue to feed that demographic so that they can get more butts in the seats. That has nothing to do with me as a dude or you, Brian, as a dude. It's not on us to watch WNBA games. It's not on us to go watch those games. Just like it's not on any woman to watch any NBA game. My wife don't watch the NBA. You know what I mean? So it's not. Yeah. That's not the way that it works. So all that being said, now the opportunity presents itself. The WNBA finally took your advice, Brian, and marketed the crap out of Caitlin Clark. Because they want to bring the eyes, and the NBA and the WNBA says no, we don't like it. We don't like it. I've been here longer. What about all the other players? What about me? What about them? What about nothing? It's dollars and cents. You either make the money or you don't.
Here's the crazy part.
Forget the feelings. Who cares? Nobody cares. It's a competitive sport.
With more people buying tickets, because there's people going to WNBA games. Let's not excuse that. They are putting butts in the seats. Yeah. That generates revenue. TV contracts are going to generate revenue. All of this is going to lead to higher contracts for your players. All right? You have to embrace this. The NCAA had its biggest viewership for the women's championship game this past season because of Caitlin Clark. They damn near competed with the men's. You know, the NCAA did it right. The WNBA just needs to carry that over, and every single person just needs to shut up and say thank you and enjoy it. Because what you're complaining about is equal pay, or is the pay. You can't get the pay unless the revenue comes in. And now the revenue is going to work itself in. So you better find a way to make more revenue. $200 million means bigger paychecks for your key players. But you can't do that if you're going to belittle someone all because of what? Because they bring notary with them? They bring an actual basketball game with them? You're taking all of that and pushing it to the side because they favor one person.
Yeah,
the NBA does it.
NBA does it. If anything, make it a competition, because that's what it is. You don't like Caitlin Clark? Beat her down. When she comes to your gym, shoot threes, do whatever you got to do. Make her feel it. I understand why people mad at Caitlin Clark. I was on the same boat with the Angel Reese thing, Caitlin Clark, where they were getting on Angel Reese about being provocative and making, doing moves, making gestures. Yeah, that should have been equal across. I agree with you. But now we're looking at a bigger picture. Everybody knows the Tiger Woods effect. Are you familiar with that? Did anybody watch golf before Tiger Woods showed up? He wasn't white. He was black. And so he wasn't exactly the prototypical golfer. And so when you get an opportunity where somebody can come in and add something to the game, you better milk that. Milk it. Even if you don't like it, milk it. I don't have a problem with players getting on the stadium and say, hey, all power to her, she's great, but when she come to my gym, I'm going to give her the business. The NBA does that all the time. I don't care. That's perfectly fine. But to make this an argument of, well, why are they giving her so much credit? It's because she's white. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But it doesn't matter because it's going to benefit you in the long run. And not just, if the idea is to empower and create equality amongst women, why the hell are we stepping on one of them?
Exactly. That's what blows my mind. It's like you guys have got what you've been waiting for this entire time. And now we're just going to say, you know what? We don't like Caitlin Clark. Well, guess what? You ain't got to like her. But when those paychecks get higher, you're going to love her.
Right.
You make a great point. You got the so-called best player of the WNBA, right? If you're a veteran, you're gonna take that personal. Go bust her ass when they come to your gym. Plain and simple.
Because you're on TV with her. That's what you don't understand. It's like, why is it all about her? But when you play her, you're there too. That's your opportunity to shine. That's how this works. You can't go in there going, well, why do they have to put her on TV? Or what about the other girls that play in the other girls that play in WNBA are on the TV with her.
Yep.
They're on her team.
They're part of that.
They're on the opposite team. Take the shine and run with it. Get a kid that's watching the WNBA right now, is watching Caitlin Clark, and you bust her ass, and they see you now. That's how competition works. Why all of a sudden is it, everybody should have and everybody deserves to? No! There's only one champion in sports. There's only one guy that gets to claim the fame. Go get yours and use her as a pedestal if you feel that way. Go get it. I'm sure. Come on, man.
I'm sure she don't care about the pedestal either, because you know why? Because she's gonna revenue off of that too. Caitlin Clark don't care. You want to make her the face, the villain, whatever the case may be.
Cool.
She don't care, because you know why? Because the revenue goes up for you guys at the end of the year. You know what you need to complain about is the fact that your season starts during the conference finals of the NBA. Complain about that,
dude.
Why are you starting your season when the NBA is getting ready to go to the NBA finals? That makes no sense. Zero.
Yeah, man.
And it's not like it's a 4-month season. You can compete with MLB when it comes to that. So compete with them. But don't try to compete with the billion-dollar organization. You're not going to. So find a way to start your season either before or after the NBA season. Plain and simple.
Dude, and it's like, and I understand how some people can take that as far as the race thing. Like I said, I was in the same argument for Angel Reese over Caitlin Clark with them getting on her about making gestures on the court, because Caitlin Clark was doing the same thing.
She was, but that wasn't a fair comparison.
But folks, when Magic and Bird were on the court, it wasn't even about that. Do you really think all of the black or folks, African American folk or black folk was on board with Bird? Hell no. Do you think all the white folk was on board with Magic Johnson smiling, grinning, and running up and down the floor and doing all the behind the back? And you think they was on board with him? No. But it was the meeting of those two that made it what it was, though. You had to have those forces in play to create the game. That's what you need. You can't rid yourself of one part of it. It's got to be both. And no matter how we look at it. So use the opportunity and push the thing forward. That's all I'm saying, man. Like I said, man. Come on now. Come on.
They
really?
have the WNBA has their Magic and Bird, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. That's they just like when Magic and Bird broke into the NBA at the same time.
Yeah.
These two broke into the WNBA at the same time. So just take advantage of it. But if you're a player already in the league, don't be jealous of that.
Yeah.
You finally have young good talent coming in. So don't belittle it, don't judge it, embrace it. If she comes into your gym, whoop her ass. Right. Rough her up a bit.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Hey, you may be here now, but we've been here. There is a big difference in that sentence. Go make a statement. But if you're not going to make a statement, shut the hell up. Plain and simple.
Right. And so I hope they figure it out. I really do. But for the likes of folks that are sort of trying to make her position the argument because of all the attention that she's getting, I hope they understand that it's the WNBA attempting to market itself in a different way because they see the opportunity to market itself for the purpose of making more money. That's really all it comes down to. And if you're mad at that and you think that, oh, well, I don't like it because maybe they should put more Angel Reese's games on, or maybe they should put whatever it is. Look, understand that the intent is to make more money. That's all they're trying to do. And
that's all they need to do.
And I don't know why any pundit or person that gets on television to talk about the sport would ever be like, yeah, you know what? I just feel like it's not right. It doesn't matter what you think. They have to make the money. What else are they supposed to do? This is their opportunity as a business person. If I had a product that was going to net me 50% more revenue year over year, yep, I'm not going to not market that product. I am not stupid. Neither is the WNBA. It makes zero sense for us to have these ridiculous arguments about how we feel. Who gives a crap? They have to market the best commodities available in order to put money in the pockets of the players and the owners and the league. They will be stupid not to. What should they have done? Should they have come forward and said, you know what? I'm real sensitive because she's white. We're not going to put her on TV. She literally just made money for the NCAA hand over fist. Why would they put her in a basement or hide her? Why?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
It doesn't make sense.
What are people talking about? Diana Taurasi's on here talking about, well, what do you think about the attention Caitlin? Oh, well, no comment. I plead the fifth. I would have just said, you know what? Good for her. I've been in the league 20 years. I'm glad to see she's in the league. If she come to my gym, I'm going to bust her ass. Next question.
And Diana Taurasi is one to make it be known.
Yeah, instead she says, I plead the fifth. No, don't plead the fifth.
Get out of here with that.
It's competitive. Why are we playing this covert bullshit crap? Where all of a sudden it's like,
you almost said it. You almost said it.
I'm just gonna fifth them. No, just come out and say it.
Yeah.
You play a competitive sport. You have an opportunity to beat the person at their own game. Then go ahead and do it. If you are mad about that, show it on the court. When they come to your city and you get to be on TV with her, show them your sport. Show them what you can do. That's it.
And there's ways of saying it too, without sitting there and being all negative about it.
Yeah, without sounding like you're crying about it.
Oh my God! Dude. Charles Barkley made a good quote. He was like, "Men are supposed to be petty, not women."
He's being facetious, but yeah, it's obviously the other way around because most of the pundits that I've seen against Caitlin Clark, they're women.
Yep, 100%. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Where we moving to here? Where are we moving to on this one now?
I don't know. What the hell is that about? Sad news, folks. As many of you may have heard or may have not heard, the NBA is switching up contracts, and the contract is going away from Turner Network, so we will be losing inside the NBA and TNT broadcast for the NBA, which is troublesome.
Tragic, man.
This show which I believe began, was it in the mid 90s or early 90s?
80s. It was
80s.
started in
Oh,
the
80s. Oh,
80s.
my
Yeah,
bad.
late
Way off.
80s. I think like 89 or something
Was
is when this
the
was when this
has
was
been
happening.
the best broadcast
Yeah.
before and after games for as long as it's been around. I am saddened to see Charles Barkley and Kenny the Jet Smith, who with those knees can never find another job ever. Um,
This is
and
going
most
to
of
hurt
all,
Kenny Smith more than anybody on that panel. Kenny Smith ain't finding a job
oh no, man.
nowhere else.
But most of all, we talked about this, is Ernie Johnson. Ernie
Yeah.
Johnson is the quintessential sports broadcaster guy. Comes in, conducts the Animal House all on his own. He finds a way to make sure that the points on the paper actually get talked about. He makes himself a part of the rants, but also finds a way to pull back and keep everybody in
Yes.
line. Dude is masterful. And the fact that ESPN has replaced that type of play with these loud mouth non-basketball, because remember, Ernie knew he wasn't a basketball player, and he stayed in his place as being a non-basketball player. All these other idiots, Stephen A, Smith, and the Rich Rasulo, or and all these guys are just blather-mouthing and screaming and hollering about sports they've never even been involved with, become the loudest voices in the room when they have no skin in the game.
Nothing.
And that's what was beautiful about the Inside the NBA, was that the players were talking. The players were talking. And Ernie knew his place. And so now we got to deal with freaking Malika Andrews or Molly Quorum or Stephen A. Smith or
Kendrick Perkins.
Heaven forbid, Shannon Sharp talk about basketball. It's just, I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to watch it. I really don't.
If you guys don't, just go to Inside the NBA and just watch it. They have clips of everything funny.
It's hilarious, man.
Every talk about it, dude. They bring the NBA, but they also bring, a comedy to it as well here. But I think what you're missing, what people are missing out of that, is just the way that show is conducted with everyone.
Yeah.
From the producers to the color commentary by the athletes. They can have two shows a night, Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesday being a players only show.
Yep.
You don't get that from ESPN. You're not, and just the staple that it's been in a lot of NBA fans' hearts, knowing that Thursday night you were getting Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley. You were going to get something out of it here. I mean, look, man, I've watched it a billion times. I watched Charles Barkley make fun of San Antonio women every time the Spurs were on. You know why? Because it was funny. It was nothing but jokes.
Right.
It got to the point where it had so many people watching it that he couldn't talk about it no more.
Yeah.
He brought up Galveston, how it's not a beach recently here. Beyonce's mom called him out on it.
Yeah.
The pranks that they play.
Or the Yo Mama joke towards the Warriors fan in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there have been some great moments. Shaq tripping and falling on his own computer, almost busting his face. I mean, there have been some great moments on that show. And to see, guys like Charles Barkley who are uninhibited and just speak their mind. Now we're going to go to these idiots.
That's what makes it good.
These idiots who are not even that concerned about the sport in general and are really just looking to promote themselves as an entity. That's what you get from the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. They're Skip Bayless. They don't care about the sport. It's all about them. And I don't want to watch that crap. I really don't. I'm not interested.
So this is the TV deal that they're getting ready to lock in. It's going to be over 30 or 11 years, $76 billion. With Walt Disney, which is ESPN, and Amazon picking up the NBA as well, and NBC. So this is why Turner Sports is getting ousted here.
Yeah, they got outbid. They got outbid.
This revenue that it's going to bring, it has the potential of the NBA having its first $100 million a year player. Guess who can benefit? Guess who's about to get that? Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah. And
when
Edwards,
all that money starts,
all those young guys, man.
So you want to talk about how you generate revenue and how you benefit from it? You just had Amazon purchase um, the NBA TV contract for between 1.8 and $2 billion, which is now a streaming network. So now I got to watch NBA on Amazon.
Yeah.
This it's getting out of control, man. I'd much rather have Inside the NBA, not Amazon, or it's going to be Sunday Night Basketball. How are you going to compete with Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, dude.
It's mind blowing.
Dude. I mean, the paywall thing is ridiculous. We dealt with it in the NFL where you had to sign up for Peacock to watch a playoff game, and now you got to be an Amazon person in order to watch NBA games. It seems like.
Next year, after next year.
Yeah, that ESPN is going to own everything. We might see NBA games on freaking Disney Plus for all I know. I mean, it's just been. I mean, it's sports should be available for everybody to watch. It should be an opportunity for everybody to just pick up a game and watch it, no matter the circumstance. But it's really turned into a situation where I'm gonna have to pay for two different subscriptions to watch different games. And that's really what it's coming to. And yeah, man, I'm not looking forward to it. But you know what? The good thing is the NBA is still popular. The players are getting better. I don't have to watch the commentary or listen to them at all if I don't choose to. And that was the beauty of TNT and the NBA app is you could watch a raw game with no broadcast and just watch the game. I don't know if ESPN is going to offer that, but in any case, man, look, I'm just I can't be mad at the NBA for turning down $70 billion, but I'm gonna hate to see the inside the NBA guys go, man.
But you talk about the streaming apps. The MLB watches games on Apple TV and on Peacock. They stream games on there. The NFL is now doing it as well with Amazon Prime. Amazon's also got the NBA season after next year.
Yeah.
I pay $500 a year for DirecTV NFL so I can watch every single game possible. So you're gonna charge me $500 for a season, but then you're gonna make me go get another app to watch a game? Mm-mm. There's no way you should be doing that. And
right.
Here's the other thing too: you're overpricing the games as it is, so you might as well make it available for people to watch, so you can benefit from that revenue for people who can't go to the game.
Exactly.
It is. This is the most selfish thing all major sports do is by going to apps. You don't need to make it available for everybody because guess what? If you can't go to the game, what are you gonna do? You're gonna watch it,
dude.
Make it available to watch, man.
And think about our two fan bases here. We're talking about Crypto Arena in LA and Chase Center in San Francisco. You're not getting a cheap ticket. It's not happening. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening. Way. I mean,
go watch the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, then you could get a ticket for maybe $50, $60. But if we're talking about a game at Chase Center, dude, you're spending at least $200, at least, and we're talking nosebleeds. And don't bring you're going to bring your family. Well, hope you got $1,000. You know what
exactly.
I mean? So it's just not something that the average person is going to get to do, man. It just isn't. It's not attainable easily. So yeah, man. They should make it more available on television. You remember the old days where you had an antenna and could watch the NBA Finals on ABC. Seriously.
It's wild, man.
So let's get you guys caught up on this game. This has been a close game throughout. Minnesota is down by 4 with 1:52 to go. Luka hit a fadeaway to increase it to a 4-point lead. The ball got jumbled around. Now they're going for a jump ball. We got Luka against Ant Edwards, who should win this tip, but he tipped it to the wrong player. So now 147, and Luka and Kyrie have a chance to finish this thing. We'll see how they close it out, man. There's a lot of physicality in this game. What is happening with what was that? Luka just throws the ball away.
Hey, man, while you watch the game, I'm going to get into a little bit of MLB chat, man, because I have not talked about it for a lot. And my San Francisco Giants are doing pretty good, man. They got through April, which was tough to watch. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. On this road trip, they've been down by more than 5 runs, and they found a way to come back. They've been playing some really good baseball, and they got a really tough stretch. with the Phillies and with the Yankees coming into town here. But the great thing is there's a youth movement happening here. They brought up some young kids. They had a lot of bad injuries. Jung Hoo Lee, who they signed in the offseason, for $100 million contract, he fractured. His shoulder was done for the year. You had Austin Slater as well go down, but he ain't that much important here. So they had these guys come up here, and they provided a spark that the Giants have been desperately needing. They finally got to 500. They were as much as a game over 500, but then they lost today. So they're sitting at 500 here, but the style of baseball that they're playing, which is actually starting to become really, really good here. So if they can find their stride going into June and catch some grounds, they're only 5.5 games out. They can catch that stride, man. I'm really hoping that they get hot at the right time here. This is going to be a good test at home against the Phillies and the Yankees here, two of the best teams in the East in their respective divisions here. So I like it, man. They should be getting Blake Snell back. Hopefully he gets his stuff under control here. The offense is turning around as well. So overall contribution coming up and down the list here for the Giants. I'm excited for it here. And let's see here. David goes, Giants should take that's Diego. Giants should take 2 out of 3 from the Phillies series. I think they should. They didn't play too bad when they were in Philadelphia, so I think being at home should be a bit easy for them. And then David Becerra, the Giants coughed it up in the night today, but they're playing much better of late. Well, that's because they had ran Duvall, I think, 3 straight games. So they're probably giving him today and tomorrow off so he can get ready for this crucial stretch here. But look, the bottom line is you need a win series. And as long as you win series, you're only dropping a game. That means you're gaining a game in somewhere in the standings. So as long as they're winning series every single time, I'll take it, man. It's been fun to watch. I'm glad they're getting it together here.
Man. Well, hopefully they can keep it going, man, so we can keep you happy through most of the summer. I know last year was a bit of a bit of a tough go. Oh man, sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I'm watching this game. We just watched the Defensive Player of the Year get dunked on to basically seal this game. He got an alley-oop to Gafford, who went up high. Rudy Gobert again, who cannot play pick and rolls, tried to push him in his chest while in the air, got dunked on in an and one. So it's looking a lot like the Mavs are going to take a 3-0 series lead, and we might have the finals set up sooner than later. I tell you that right now.
Yep, I think we're getting a Mavs Celtics final.
Yep. Woo. Man, interesting.
Well, if anybody else in the chat, we got 6 people in the chat viewing right now. So if anybody else in the chat got a little something they want to talk about before we sign off here, let us know about it here. We're here, open it up for discussion here. If anyone got anything that they want to talk about, let us know. We're open for it here. God, dude, this sunburn's driving me nuts, though, man. I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
Man, you gotta have that sunscreen. You have that spray stuff with you?
Nah, man. Red turns into brown anyway, so eventually I'll get dark from all this sunburn. Yo, I can't tell you how many times I heard in the dugout today the Kendrick Lamar diss to Drake.
Not like us.
Oh my God, man. I love it. Kendrick Lamar defended the entire state of California in that diss as well. He brought up Oakland, LA,
he sure did.
Crenshaw. He defended the entire California route, so I love it.
Yeah, no, as well he should, against a non-American, by the way. So we don't allow that. You can't come over here from another country, Drake, and try to claim rap. Sorry, bro.
And then Diego, Jordan Hicks is that guy. Jordan Hicks was he is that guy. Once closer, now a starter for the Giants here. He took on that role. Bro, he throws a sinker ball that is nasty. I think JD Martinez took a swing at it yesterday. Damn near threw his bat into the stands, man. He had him looking stupid. I loved every single bit of it. But yeah, man, it's good. That's the key for the Giants, is that their starters have to be able to go deep. They have the guys to do it, and that's what's going to separate them a lot. Moving forward here is if the starters can stay consistent, but they don't have to use a whole lot of the bullpen here. You get Camilo into some easy save opportunities. it's going to be striving. That's the way the Giants won these World Series, is where they had dominant pitching and timely hitting. And for the last 10 games, we've seen a lot of it. So I'm down for it. And then David, Marco Luciano can hit well, but maybe he should be taken out for defensive replacement. Yo, Ray, my sister made a funny ass comment I think it was yesterday or today. And she said Marco Luciano couldn't turn a double play even if we had our mom running up the first base line.
Dang, that's right.
Yo, the kid is young, and that's the other thing too, is the Giants are going to take a chance on this young kid. His bat is actually pretty decent. But these are the things that you're going to have to work with. It is up to Luciano to get through that early, so he can develop into a really good ball player. It's the only thing. The two losses they have, actually the one loss they had on the road, was due to the fact that he couldn't turn a double play ball. So they just need him to get a little more consistent with the glove. And I would love to have him in the lineup every day. And it's over. Dallas. 116 to 107.
Same thing happened, man. It was a close game until they got in the final 2 minutes, and Luka went off. Kyrie hit a big shot, big fadeaway. Then they had Luka get into the paint, get a lob for a dunk, and they went on a nice little run to finish the game. They end up winning by 9, 116 to 107. They up 3-0, and it looks like Kyrie Irving is going back to the finals.
Good for him, man. I'm glad he got his season turned around. For a lot of stuff he said and done, and a lot of slack that he's taken.
Yeah,
we've all forgotten that he was,
a good player. He's a good basketball player.
He's a very good player, one of the best finishers around the rim, one of the greatest ball handlers here. I think between him and Curry in this league, you could say 1A, 1B. Either way around here, I think you got to give Kyrie Irving a little more because he can finish at the hoop a little better. And that's no knock to Curry, but there's been shots Kyrie has made that he does not deserve to make. Yeah. That's because it's something that he's skillful in. So, that's why I think it's a good balance for him and Luka.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that he played very well next to LeBron and now is playing very well next to Luka Doncic. So, I think he's in the right place. But it looks like this. We might be coming back. When is the next game? On Tuesday. This might be
NBA Final Pick'ems on Friday.
Oh yeah,
we may get it.
This is a wrap, man. And Edward, sorry, bro. It's over. I don't think they come back from this. And Rudy Gobert, there's a reason he's been traded after being Defensive Player of the Year before. The guy is just not. He's just not it. I don't know why we keep rolling his behind out there, as if he's gonna do something. He ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yeah, we
appreciate it. Everybody in the comments: Diego, David, Mama Birdie, Saito. Am I missing anybody else? I think I got everybody there.
I think that's everybody. Yeah, I think you got everybody.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that's it for us. We're gonna go on and get some dinner and sit down and. Oh man, I'm gonna watch some highlights and watch the inside the NBA for the last few times we get a chance to see it. I guess.
No, man.
All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.
Like.